Good Friday morning. Here is Kramer's Corner with a daily technical update. It's 17th of November. Fairly quiet day on the US market yesterday, a little bit higher, and there is room up to 45.40 on the S&P 500. This gap area should be observed, but I don't think there will be any danger at the moment. The Nasdaq 100 very close to previous peak here at 15,932, and also this gap area here should be observed. If it is being closed, then we could see a larger correction. We are a little bit stretched short term on the US markets. Seng yesterday, this morning, got beaten quite heavily. After also yesterday it was very close, well, actually being rejected just below the 18,200 and following through today the lower levels, and most likely Alibaba was one of the leading seller being sold off there. So we could see again the Hang Seng sliding lower to 17,000. Also the RSI still didn't break above the 60 level, so still in a negative sentiment. We have the Stoxx 50 index at the moment. As we speak, we are just above the 43.26 resistance. Around this level, we can see there were some spikes up here back then and a little bit here, but in general that is around that level. There is some resistance, but we are in an uptrend supported by bullish RSI, so we should be moving higher a little bit. Same here on DAX, closing in on 16,000, and if we touch that, which I believe we will do, probably not today, but going into next week, it is a little bit stretched, the uptrend, and we should see a correction. How big it will be, we can talk about that when we have a top in place. The RSI pointing higher, but it's in the 70 plus level area. The AX couldn't really penetrate 763, and setting back over to around the 200 moving average, still above 750, so we are still in a bullish trend, supported by the bullish RSI. Belgium market, it should test the 35.75 resistance area level here, but it seems like the cloud, Ichimoku cloud here, is offering some resistance, so a little bit struggling, and we are still, I believe, we're still below the 60 RSI, haven't closed above, so that is lacking quite a bit to the other markets. CAC 40 after a minor setback yesterday, trying again today, moving above the 7,200. Can it take out the 200 moving average? I believe it can, but if it does take out yesterday's lows, well, then we can see a larger setback below 7,100. But I think we will move towards the 7,300 here in the coming days. SMI, that has been struggling after it closed the gap here. Bears yesterday tried to push it back low, but they were not strong enough to close to the downside. So I think now we will see it taking off a bit, and it can be strengthened, this uptrend, if we also can get RSI back above 60. Well, then there's room up towards 11,000. Euro dollar stepping sideways after this strong move, could slide a little bit lower to around 108, but we should see it move up to around 109.50 as level, this resistance, and this 61.8 retracement here in coming days. Cable sliding lower, 123.35.40. I don't think it will dip below that one. We can also see RSI very close to test its lower rising trend line here. We should see buyers coming back in, but otherwise we could easily be range bound here for a little bit to the weaker side. But I think buyers will come back in and lift it higher. We have bullish RSI. There's no divergence, so we should see cable moving a little bit higher. Something that is not really moving higher is dollar yen, caught range bound between 149 and 152. Can't really penetrate the 152 level. Sellers have been really strong, just a few cents below. So now we are likely to test the 55 moving average and the 149 level there before we can get any meaningful direction. And after a very strong upwards move in euro-yen, it seems like it's correction time, at least down to the 38.2 retracement at 161.78, possibly all the way down to test the lower rising trend line and the 61.8 retracement just around here, 160. 160 and a quarter, around that level. We could see it slide lower too. Also, Aussie yen, after being rejected, couldn't penetrate the take out the 2022 peak at 98.55. So now it's being sold off down to 96.82, possibly lower, but I think we will stop there, and then we will see buyers coming in, because these levels here have been quite interesting lately. The Aussie dollar rejected, formed a top and reversal pattern, so I would expect Aussie dollar sliding back towards the 64. I'm not quite sure we'll get all the way back here, but around 64 maybe before we will have another go at the 65 2025 resistance. We need to close above, but then there's strong resistance around 66. Dollar index also stepping sideways, testing this 104.39, which is now a bit of a resistance, but we are in a bearish trend also in terms of RSI sentiment. So we could, in coming, going to next week, or possibly going into end of November, see it sliding lower to test the 200 moving average, possibly dipping down to 103. If it starts moving higher up towards 105, I'm not so convinced. It will merely just be a correction in a downwards trend. Precious metals are really on the move. We have the gold spot taking off above the 61.8 retracement, closing in on the 786 retracement. I think we will see gold testing the 2000 and also take out the previous peak here within a few days. So very strong bounce, and we have bullish RSI back up of the 60, and there's no divergence indicating we should see higher levels. What we have been looking for or at for quite some time is that the silver couldn't get above the 23.78, but now it is for a second day straight. It didn't close above yesterday, but now I think we could see a close above today, and we also have the RSI back above 60, so there should be more upside potential to 25 and a quarter, around that level where we have some resistance, so fairly strong there. On the other hand, copper, fairly boring at the moment. Can't really get upside traction. Still negative sentiment in the RSI. So range bound here between 375 and 360 is level. I expect that to continue for the foreseeable future. On the oil market, on the other hand, heavy selling yesterday took the here is the WTI, sweet crude oil, below support at 73.84, continuing the trend, and there's not really much support until levels around these levels down here. And what we can do draw a trend line also on some of the peaks here, see if that could give us a little bit of support. Yeah, we have something here around 72.65. However, looking at the weekly chart, as you can see, well, currently testing the 786 retracement of the uptrend we saw here in Q2 going into Q3, but now it's getting weaker again, and we are almost back to where we started, and I think we will drift lower towards the 70 level, so we are back there down to these levels there from Q2, and more or less the same picture on Brent, of course, also testing the 786 retracement here, just around 77, 76 level, 77.15, as it says there, also from this uptrend. But we are basically back to where we started about 6 months ago or something, and we could easily slide lower, which I believe we will here in going into next week, possibly again to test the 200 weekly moving average. US 10-year is giving way, support at 4.36. RSI, as we speak, below the 40 threshold, sorry. And we also have the future after, 4 tries to now break above and potentially close above the resistance here at 108.27, 100 moving average coming down. And if we close above that level here and above the cloud, well, then there could be more upside potential. And then we have a situation where we see lower 10-year yields in US. Also, very quickly looking at the Eurobond, that has taken out the 131. That was also a bit of a key level. Well, then there is room higher to the 200 moving average, potentially around 132.5. All right, that's all for today. I wish you a nice Friday and a nice weekend. Happy trading. See you.